welcome once again to another edition of our literary program, and yes, in conversation with young minds once again. Yes, today we are in the studios of Doordarshan Shillong, and we will be in conversation with some young students once again, and this time the students are from Martin Luther Christian University. They are in their master's degree, of course, and they are in the Department of Literature, English Literature, as I'm told. Well, they are right beside me, and let me go ahead and introduce them to you. Beside me is Rachel Kharkungor, and we are also being joined by Santella Lingdo, and next to her is Womenzia Marak. Well, like always, we always bring for you these young minds to interact with them, to talk to them, to understand their minds, because besides their academic pursuits, they are so much into creative writing as well. And this is the right platform that we give them to expose their talents, because often these talents remain within them. And well, we also through them encourage others to come to the fore and to do a little bit of pondering, little bit of thoughtful thinking, and to pen down those thoughts as well. So today we will be understanding their minds. So hi there, girls. A very hearty welcome to each one of you to Doordarshan Shillong, and thank you so much for your time, and that you could take out your time from your busy master's schedule and that you have come to us today. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, so Rachel, I have just given a very brief introduction of you. I'm sure there's so much more that you could tell about yourself. So go ahead, tell us a little bit more of you.
My name is Rachel Kharkungor, and I am currently pursuing my master's degree in English Literature in Martin Luther Christian University, and now I am in my second semester. For me, literature is not just a subject. It's much more better than that. I can see it because it helps me connect with my feelings and to think deeply and to understand the world in a better way. One of my hobbies is writing poetry, which started when I was in my college days. How it began when I expressed my feelings in a very simpler way, and gradually it turned out to be a very more creative and a meaningful outlet.
Absolutely. So wonderful to know about you, Rachel. And Shantella, anything more that you would like to talk about yourself?
I am Shantella Lingdo, and I'm currently pursuing my master's degree in English Literature in Martin Christian University, and I'm in my second semester. So I love poetry, and I'm a quiet observer and someone who finds meaning in small little things around me. So actually I started pretty much very late in writing. So I was in my class 12, and it was the time where I had no one to talk about my feelings and all. And it was during that time that I started jot down to whatever I have in my mind, and I just write it there. So that's the time where I feel like, okay, English is the subject that I should take and continue.
And now you're doing some writing bits and pieces also, right? Yes, wonderful. And what about you, Womenzia?
Hello, my name is Womenzia Marak, and I'm from Garo Hills. I'm studying at Martin Luther Christian University, and currently now in my second semester. I started my writing very late. Actually, I was in class 12 when I had interest in reading books, and I love reading poetry from John Keats. That's how I really like loving literature, and now I'm continuing my further studies in literature.
I mean, my immediate thoughts that comes to my mind is that you all said that, you love to read. And Shantella said she's a thinking, quiet person, right? So where is all the time besides doing masters? That is quite a taxing studies academic period of your life right now. Yet you find time. Rachel, where is the time that you get when you jot down your thoughts, and what are those thoughts all about?
Actually, as a postgraduate student, I must say that I don't usually get time to write, but then there are times that I used to make for myself, because I think that writing and to pen down my thoughts, and sometimes I take my phone notes whenever I feel that something catches my feelings, and then something I observe that really motivates me to write, and then that's the time that I don't care about anything, and then I just take time and just write whatever I feel about it. And especially what connects me to writing is that my surroundings, the culture, and the love for the roots, and it's just that and more of culture and culture.
Absolutely. What I liked, you just said you connect to the roots, you think about your culture. How wonderful is that? Shantella, what makes you think, what does your mind tick about Is your surroundings? Because you said you're a quiet, observant person. So what are you observing?
Pretty much like I'm a quiet observer, like I've said. So it was the time when I'm all alone and like I'm enjoying my peace and all. It was that time that I feel like, oh, I should write this when something comes to my mind. So it was that time. So I'll feel like, okay, I should write this down. I don't have a specific time to like to make time to write or anything. So it's only when I'm just listening to music and then I'm talking to my mom or to my friends, anyone. So that time I'll be like, oh, when she said something, I'll be, maybe I should write this down. Maybe I should do this. So that's how I do it, ma'am.
Oh yeah, so it's a very not a very thoughtful that from this time to this time I will write this. I sitting on my desk and then not like that. What about you, women? Yeah.
Even me, I don't have a specific time that I'll sit down and write. Whenever whenever the thoughts comes into my mind, even at night also, I'll just be like, okay, I need to sit and
what
write
are those
this.
thoughts?
Like about when I think about my sisters also, I'll be writing about them. And when I think about my family also, I start writing about them into a poetry. And most of the time, sometimes I think about the surroundings also that surrounds me, and I'll write about them. It's like that.
Because you said you're from Garo Hill, so your family must be that side.
Yes.
So is it the missings that you have about them? Because you also said that you love Keats. He is a romantic poet. So what are your poems all about?
My poems are about. One poem I write about is about my sister, how she really take care of us, being the eldest. Okay. That's how I wrote my poems.
And Richel, do you also read? I mean, does some of your thoughts, have they stemmed from the readings that you'll also do? Because whenever I have interacted with youngsters like yours, others, they always say that they are into reading. And reading also ignites some of our thoughts, and it gives shapes to our words also. Does it happen to you too?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely, yes, because I think so. Reading, it really shaped how we write. Because I think that the beginning of writing, it's reading. Without reading, we cannot even write or even think more beyond it. So what shaped my writing is that how I take some of my time and then spend it reading books, like some of the cultural books, be it Khasi books, be it some of the Indian writing books, like R.K. Narayan, and then like American books as well. Okay,
yes, American authors too.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, wonderful. And what about you, Shantella? Do you read Indian authors as well, or is it all foreign authors? What kind of readings do you do?
I read Indian authors also, and I enjoyed very much with Indian authors like Anita Desai, Ruskin Bond. I really enjoyed them, and I feel like I could really connect to Anita Desai because she writes about the family, emotions, and the loneliness, and also I feel really pretty much connected to her. And Ruskin Bond, I just love the way he writes because he writes about nature, childhood, live the moment, and he makes me fall in love with storytelling and all. So yes, ma'am, I read both Western and Indian.
Yeah, okay, that's what so nice to know about that. And women's, because our state itself has so many meaningful inspirations that we can actually, we can just be alone and we just look out of our window and we'll find something or the other that will trigger our thoughts. Yes. Because we are such a state which is, enriched with nature, and nature, be it the stars, the moon, the trees, the mountains, the hills, the rivers, whatever, have always kind of ignited thoughts in our feelings, especially those who write. Does it happen to you as well?
Yes, it happens to me also, like when I see the surroundings and the beauty of the surrounding, the flowers, the gardens. Yeah, it helps me to write what I'm thinking. And whenever there's something happens, like flood also, it makes me think, oh, this is about the flood is such a thing that
it can devastate,
it's a disaster, and it makes hunger. I write about those things also. Okay.
So what I understand is that you people are thinking, your mind is always active and you all are doing some kind of thing. But then there are both negative thoughts and positive thoughts that often surround our minds, and sometimes I guess the negative thoughts can really cloud our thinking also. Does it happen to you all too that sometimes the negativity around us or what is going on around us also has an impact on your minds?
Yes, ma'am, it does. It does, because as in this modern world, we see a lot of things happening here and there, especially the negativity brought by the people, be it verbally or the way they do, or the way they just express it in a very unkind manner, that it really affects the youths today. And I think that it really affects how, like, us, the writer, the young writers, it affects how we're thinking too. So I think that's
because we are so much into information. I think there is a deluge, literally a deluge of information. We don't need, I guess, so much of information. Recently, one of the very famous author had said, without naming her, I would say that she said we live in an age where there's too much of information floating around us, and how much can the mind cram? So does that also bother you, Shantella, that we are in an age where there is so much of information, and that can really, really distract us and overpower us also, and make it so overbearing for us?
Yes, ma'am. I feel sometimes there's so much of distraction going on around us, so much of pressure from the society, from everyone around us, and I feel like we should not look only on the negative side. So that's why sometimes if I see there's too much negative around us, too much pressure, too much expectations, so I'll just feel like it's okay, I'll just live the way I want to live. I'll have my own limits and not just look around us, especially with these social medias. There's so much going on around us, and sometimes we feel like, why am I not like them? Sometimes we compare ourselves and all, but at the end of the day, I'll be like, okay, they are living their way and I'm living my way. It's okay, it's all right.
So wonderful to know that you all seem so mature, because that's how our mind should work, right, Womenzia? You agree to her, because in a world of comparison, everybody compares you, wherever you are, and those kind of thoughts also percolates us and can bring those negativities in us, right? The comparison bit. So do you agree with what she says, that no, I will just be the way I am?
Yeah, I agree with what Shantala has told just now. The comparison is, in this world, in this generation where social media is all around, the digital world, we often sometimes feel like when we see the posts of others, we always feel like, oh, she's that, and we often feel sometimes comparing ourselves. But whatever Shantala has just said now, and like not comparing ourselves later on and be by living yourself, it's really true.
And writings gives you all that peace, right?
Yes.
It is the me time that you'll have with yourselves. You know what, Richel, you just said, and that really triggered, and I'm so glad about it. You said culture ignites your thoughts. Can we really hear one of your work? But before that, can you also speak about what is that work all about, and what really triggers you about your culture?
Yes, ma'am. There's a poem that I've written. Like, it's not just a personal journey, that it's a local place, everyone knows it, and it's called Yodu in Khasi.
Right.
And that place, it's a very bustling market in Shillong. Everybody knows it, like not just local people from all around the city. They come, students, parents, grandparents, they do come there. And then yet I must say that I must write about this, because I want my work to be heard, because this place are seen as ordinary thing. They are not given much importance. So through my works, I want it to be more creative and express it.
Okay, there has been films also made on Yodo especially.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's hear you right now.
Years and days pass by. From the older to the present generation, we walk on. Things change. The way we live changes. The places we stay, from villages to towns. With development blooming everywhere I see. I wonder why all this change. Maybe it's because we are evolving with years. From the hustling city of Shillong to the calm serenity of Smith, many have heard the market called Yodu, where we carry the playo traditions in hand. It's not just the rural folk townspeople come to buy the daily needs, from the smallest essentials to things much bigger, all found here, pocket friendly, and the bargaining with the shopkeepers, that's what makes it special. Here among the crowds, certain people walk with stories, heavy or light, every individual holding their own, some wrapped with joy, others marked by pain. Yet they after day, without fail, they come and open the stalls, walking tirelessly to put a food on the table, to earn a living, so that people like us can come, choose, and carry home what we need. But it's not only locals who come, travelers, students, people from far off places, they've heard the name. They've walked through the lanes, some drawn by the curiosity, some by the stories passed down, and some by the scent of tradition in the air. Yodo welcomes all, no matter where they're from. There are markets, many big and small, but everyone knows this one. Narrow lanes, twist and turn, packed with tight shops on either side. Sometimes I get lost, but the strange thing is I always find my way back to the entrance. Everything changes, but not this place called Yodo, the heart of the city where my grandmother brought my mother, and now my mother brings me. There's something beautiful in that, in this connection through time, in embracing our very own Yodo.
So wonderful. I mean, you really brought out the essence of that place. I mean, every word sounds so true, and it almost, it was like a film. I could visualize what you just described. Wonderful. Well done. Let's hear from you, Shantella. What do you have for us right now to, to express yourself?
Yes, ma'am. This poem comes from a personal place. Like I was thinking what it means to carry our culture, our family, and where we come from, especially in today's world where we're always rushing and chasing so many things. We have so much in life that sometimes we forget ourselves, our identity. So this poem I wrote is about wearing my roots like a shawl. I wear my roots like a shawl, not too tight, not too loose, just enough to keep the wind out and let the memories in. Woven in silence by hands older than mine, dyed with the colors of stories told by the firelight, in voices that spoke more in pauses than in loud claims. Each thread hold a memory of the hills where I grew up, the smell of rain on red soil, and songs my grandmother sang in the language of home. Some days I forget who I am when the world moves too fast, but the shawl pulls me back on days I drift too far, like someone gently saying, remember where you come from. I don't wear it to impress anyone. I wear it because it feels like home, because it reminds me of my people, the land under my feet, and the stories that shaped me. Even when I speak in another language, a part of home still comes through in my voice, in my way of seeing the world.
Beautiful. Culture, huh? Wrapped in a shawl, like a shawl.
Yes.
How wonderful. And Womenzia, what is it that you will want to share with us?
The poem that I brought is about Mother Prays to the Skies. Actually, the poem is about the season monsoon. It's about the season monsoon, and I wrote it when I was last year in my own language, and I was practicing how to translate. So I just wrote it into the English. When I see my place surrounded with flood and areas, that inspired me to write this poem. So here it goes. A poem, a mother prays to the skies. We do need rain. When monsoon comes, it sings through fields like beating drums. For those who toil with hands in soil, brings a hope that ends their toil. But rain can turn from friendship to foe. When flood arrives and river grows, the rice won't dry, the store run bare, and hunger banks heavy in air. The flood of truth sweep all away, no roof, no grain, no place to stay. Children suffer, cold and thin, eyes searching for the light within. A mother holds her child near, with nothing left but silent fear. She afraid the skies will change their mind, and let the weather be more kind. Too much of anything can break the pouring rain, the sunlight ache, but life, unfair though it may be, still asks us all to bend not flee. Yet through the storms a truth will cope, like a mother who clings to unborn hopes, trusting the skies for her children's sake, believing the dawn will rise its awake.
It is so much reminiscent of what we are experiencing right now, right? Because, you know, we've been experiencing torrential rainfall. It has caused quite a lot of havoc all over the Northeast. And what you have just said adds so much meaning to our current situation, right? So wonderful. I congratulate you all for thinking so deep. The words, the meaningful words that you all are coming from your heart, literally, right? You all are really observant people. Keep writing. I think it's really, really wonderful. But then, however, I also want to ask, are you all only writing in English? Are you all not writing in your local language, or do you all have such plans in the future?
Yes, ma'am, I do have such plans. I just don't want it to stick out in just writing in English.
Right.
I do want it to write in Khasi. There's one poem that I've written in Khasi, but I don't think so. It's well structured, so I won't be reading it today. Most probably after a few months, I'll be
more confident.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah?
I'll be more confident about it.
Yeah, and Women's Year, you also said that, you know, that was a translation, right? That you have a translation. But in translation, do you think, like, what you have written in the Garo language, when you translate it in the English, does it take away a little bit of its essence?
Yeah, it does take away some essence, because I don't know how to write in Garo that much properly, and when I put more words into English, I can make really well structure. That's why I write it in English.
And therefore, when we write in English, what are some of the tools that is therefore necessary, Shantella? Like, what is it that, you know, the right words, the phrases, do you all use a dictionary or, you know, any thesaurus? Like, how does the words come to you all? Because some of the words are quite deep, not commonly heard of, right? Used. So how does those words come?
Ma'am, well, before, like, when I write poetry, so like I'll think of some of the words, and then later I'll go to the dictionary and I'll see, and then I'll turn it into Khasi first. I'll feel like, is it fit or not, and then later I'll go back to the dictionary and then I'll search, okay, this is the right meaning that I can use it there. And like in one of the poetries that I'm still writing now and it's not done yet, so I'm giving it a bilingual touch. So I have like one line in English, another line in Khasi. So that's
Is it the same line in Khasi or a different line in Khasi?
No, in a different line in Khasi. So like it's like one line is a different sentence, I mean, and the other one is a different meaning. Yeah, but it's
that's
a
something
bilingual
different.
type.
That's something different. Have you all ever thought of publishing your works? Have you all published your works? Or do you all want have such, you know, even in small magazines or anything else, like, you know, in a collection of anthology maybe of poems, anything like that? Do you all have such plans?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
we're planning to, I guess.
And how do you all in the future want to take it up? What is the future plan? Because you all are writing well, let me tell you this, okay? As a person who's not much into, but it has evoked emotions in me. I'm sure it does, it will do to others once you know, take it up. So what are the plans, Rachel? Like, what are your future plans because you have taken up literature too?
Yes, ma'am. Though may I not be a very good writer, but I'm just practicing it now. I may say that because for me the writing is not just about like just expressing the feelings and all, but then to take up abroad as writing, I would definitely want to. But apart of that, I would also like to go into a very creative field, like teaching, because it allows us to learn more and more, and then through it I can teach the youths, the young minds
also at the same time, right?
Yes,
so what about you, you know, Shantella, in the future, because where will literature go up further beyond?
Yes, ma'am. Like as Rachel has already mentioned, so in me, I want to take up my writings further, and I wish through my writings people will be inspired and motivated. And I also want to take up teaching and to inspire many other young
also at the
writers.
same time.
Yes, ma'am.
Wonderful. You know, we are almost coming to an end, sadly. You know, but I would wish to hear short stanzas maybe of any other particular poem that you all have brought, because I did promise that I will be listening to 2 each, right?
Yes,
so let's start from Women's Year. Very short ones before we wrap up.
So the poem is about how I dreamt my world. It's the poem title is "The Galaxy's Dream." So it goes: a world with no war, no fight over fate, no greed, no hate, no lines to erase, where world are honest, gentle and true, and good means good in all that we do. where life feels softer, not so tight, less bound by facts that blur the light, where beauty is pure without a trace of night, and people treat each other right. There's no such thing as purely good, just judgment waiting misunderstood. Still she dreams, though the world denies, hoping love will grow even where sorrow lies.
Wonderful. Okay, and as we close down, Shantella, what is your work?
Ma'am, I'm an introvert. So whenever I have a get together or anywhere, so I feel so tired, so like very fast. So here's the poem that I wrote about myself. Here, but not really. Everyone's laughing, voices bouncing off the walls. But I'm somewhere else, quiet in my own corner, smiling because it's easier than explaining the silence inside. I nod, I listen, pretend I belong, while 100 conversations pass me like a wind through an opened window. It's strange to be surrounded and still feel unseen, like I'm here, but not really. Loneliness isn't always about being alone. Sometimes it's being in a room full of people and still feeling like no one would notice if you disappeared.
Absolutely. So truly spoken. Quickly, your work.
A short introduction about my poem titled The Garden of Thoughts. This is the poem that I've written when I was at my lowest. I'm such an overthinker that I wrote this poem when I was in my college days back then. And then it's as the title mentioned, The Garden of Thoughts. That's how my thoughts were, and there are days where are dark, and there are days where there's light, and then how I overcame all those things, and then I gained strength and peace through writing. And here it goes. The garden of my mind. Seeds are sown, my dreams a flower, the colors unknown. Whispers of hope dances like the gentle breeze, nurtured by rain, sunlight that filters through trees. Some thoughts are wildflowers, bright and free. Others, like shadows, silently hide quietly. The weeds of doubt creeping upon the ground, yet the roots of courage can be found. I wander throughout the waste, lined with my fears, picking the petals of laughters and tears. Every step a story unknown, every breath a song unsung. In this garden of thoughts, I know I belong. As I nurture my soul, my heart begins to thrive. In the warmth of self-love, my spirit starts to revive. For the garden keeps blossoming with time, and in this beauty, my true self will forever shine.
Wonderful. It's such a positive poem, you know, where you find yourself, right?
Yes,
and in all those maze of thoughts that you have. You know, it's been a pleasure for me to speak to you all, to understand the young minds once again, and thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. I know these thoughts are very personal. You know, some of you may not want to share it, but today you all have done it so that you encourage many others also to go into that field, that is into writing their thoughts. Thank you so much, girls, for being in our studios today and sharing your work with us and giving us your time. Well then, dear viewers, these are the students of Martin Luther Christian University from the Department of English Literature who have come to us, to our studios here. Yes, we have here Richel, Shantella and Womenzia, who joined us in this edition of our literary program In Conversation with Young Minds. I'm sure that you have enjoyed this edition as well. Do join us next time again when we will be back with another set of young minds. Until then, from all of us here, it's wishing you goodbye.